Shalom, shalom. All praises and glory belong to Yahweh, Bashem Yahushai, Bashem Makakodash. Double honors unto the elders and to the apostles of Great Millstone, and salutations to the hopefully elect, alright, the men that are pushing this truth out in the four corners and the highways and byways. This is the brother Yakal coming at you with another lesson, through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bashem Yahushai. Alright, and this lesson is going to be entitled Watch Before You Become Willful. Alright? Or mind before you become willful. You know? So starting off with the first scripture, 2 Corinthians 13 verse 5. It says, Examine yourselves whether ye be in the faith. Prove your own selves. Know ye not your own selves how that Yahushua Mashiach is in you, except ye be reprobates. Alright? Say you ought to examine yourself, whether you be in the faith, and that's something that we ought to do regularly, consistently examining ourselves to see if we be in the faith, really and truly is to see if we in Yahushua Mashiach, alright, if we're moving according to his purpose and to his will, to the will of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, alright. But it says, know not Yahushua Mashiach is in you, except you be reprobates. So the only way that Yahushua is now within you is if you be a reprobate. Alright? And a lot of times we get caught up in being called. Alright? And focus on, hey, we in the truth, but understand that, hey, we're not saved yet. Alright? We still have to make our calling and election sure. We still have to make the sacrifices and to do the work. We still have to push. Alright? We still have to do those things which are necessary for us to do. Alright? And not get caught up in being called. But really and truly strive for election. Alright? Strive to be a part of the 144,000. But I want to get the word reprobate in the Blue Letter Bible. Alright? See what it says. Is Strong's reprobates. Go down. G97 ad okemos. Alright.
Strong's G96 adakimas.
Strong's G96, like not 9796. Adakimas. Right? This is not standing the test, not approved, properly used of metals and coins, that which does not prove itself such as it ought. And like the scriptures say, we ought to and those that endure unto the end, the same shall be saved. Was that Matthew 24? All right, and that's what we're doing. We stand in the test of time. We striving rather to stand the test of time and to endure unto the end. All right, but as a reprobate, you ain't gonna stand the test of time. The Strong's definition, it says, from G1 as a negative particle in G1384, unapproved, that is rejected by implication, worthless, literally or morally, cast away, rejected or reprobate, and you don't want to be a castaway, you don't want to be rejected, you don't want to be a reprobate. The scripture tell you now, I believe that's Matthew 11 or Matthew 12, it tell you that what? Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, Lord, Have we not? I believe it's Matthew 11. Matthew 7. Yeah, Matthew 7 and 22 says, Many shall say to me in that day, Lord, Lord, have we not prophesied in thy name? And in thy name cast out devils, and in thy name done many wonderful works. Alright? And then will I prophesy unto them, I never knew you. Depart from me, ye that work iniquity. You know? And this is we talk about being rejected. Alright? Because and like I was going into earlier, don't be caught up in being called, because this is a perfect example of you being called, all right, and you prophesying in the Lord's name. You out there, you doing the works, you got a good thing going, all right. You years in the truth, so on and so forth, all right. You know, you casting out devils, you breaking the scriptures down, you breaking bonds off of the minds of our people. You know, it might even come to the point where the Lord can give us spiritual power. You get spiritual power, you performing miracles, but again, definitely don't want to be a Lord, man, you know, rejected because you doing the work, all right, you doing the work, you out there, you prophesying, but again, don't be caught up in you know in being called, all right, and watch what you're doing before you become willful. All right, and as we go into the scriptures, we're gonna come alive. The message of this lesson. All right, yeah, this is Sirach 18 and verse 20. It says, "Before judgment examine thyself, and in the day of visitation thou shalt find mercy." All right, you ought to examine yourself before the day of judgment. All right, in the day of visitation thou shalt find mercy. Why? Because when you examine yourself, there's things that you see that you wouldn't see otherwise. Why? Because everything in this society is so is so fast paced, and then there's also tons of distraction. All right. So what you gotta do at times is to take a step back, be in a in a quiet place for a moment, all right, or for a period of time, and just examine yourself, examine your life, examine what you got going on, examine your purpose, examine your attitude towards the truth, your attitude towards the laws of the Most High, to the commandments of the Most High. How you applying them in your day-to-day life. All right. You just examine everything. All right. And you're going to find a lot that you're going to find things about yourself, that definitely need changing. All right. Even me, I examine myself myself, Salakia. I examine myself. And this lesson really and truly goes to me first and foremost. All right. And then to anybody else that going to see this video, you know, I examine myself and there are things that I see, you know. But if you're not examining yourself and you just continuing in that dark place, guess what, you're gonna go farther and farther into it. And until you're in a place where you can't move. Alright? It says let nothing in the deed to pay thy vow in due time, and defer not until death to be justified. This is the point. Excuse me, it says, before thou prayest, prepare thyself. Be not one as one that tempted the Lord. Think upon the wrath that shall be at the end, and the time of vengeance, when he shall turn away his face. Let me see if it was above. Yeah, but basically that was the point in verse 20. You have to examine yourself. All right. And this is why. Sirach 19 and verse 1, it says, a laboring man that is given to drunkenness shall not be rich, and he that contemneth small things shall fall little by little. All right. Now I want to get that word contemn. Let me see if I could pull this up in the English dictionary. To disdain, to value little or nothing, to treat or regard with contempt, to commit an offense of contempt, such as contempt of the court. But basically, it goes into what? To disdain, to value at little or nothing. So what you often see is that, um, yeah, it says the state or act of contemning the feeling or attitude of regarding someone or something as base, or worthless, scorn or disdain. All right, now the scriptures say what? And he that contemneth small things shall fall little by little. A man that they're gonna see himself slip here or there and just say, hey, it's a small thing, that shouldn't matter. Eventually you're gonna continue to fall little by little. All right, little by little and little by little, until it reaches a point where there's no return. One of the saying that I always bear in mind is, once you tell a lie, you gotta continue lying. All right, or from one lie, there's the birth of another. All right, why? Because you gotta continue lie to cover up or to maintain the lie that you first told. You understand? So you could contemn a small thing. All right, regard it as little or nothing, and by doing so, gradually, more and more, you're gonna keep falling. All right. Now, this is Sirach chapter 27 and verse 1. It says, many have sinned for a small matter, and he that seeketh for abundance will turn away his eye. It says, and as a nail sticketh fast between the joining of stones, so doth sin stick close between buying and selling. Unless a man hold himself diligently in the fear of the Lord, his house shall be soon overthrown. And the reason why I read this scripture is because many times you're going to slip. All right, but when you find yourself in a certain situation and you're not examining yourself, you're going to keep doing something, but because you're not being judged, you're going to set the scripture tell you that in was the um Ecclesiastes 8 and 10 or something to that effect, I believe. It tell you that because uh judgment is not executed speedily against wickedness, therefore the heart of man is set to do evil, roughly paraphrasing. So what you find is that because you're not being judged, you're going to continue to do it. And that's why the scriptures say what? Unless a man hold himself diligently in the fear of the Lord, in the fear of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, all right, his house shall soon be overthrown. All right, because once you hold yourself diligently in the fear of the Lord, hey, there's certain things that you're going to see and you're going to correct. You're going to see it and you're going to correct it. All right, and once you hold yourself diligently, hey, your house going to be held upright. Why? Because it's going to be built on a strong foundation, which is the rock, which is Yahushai. All right. Now, let me just read back this scripture. Um, Sirach 19, and I want to get back the latter part, and it says in Sirach 19 and 1, a laboring man that is given to drunkenness shall not be rich, and he that contemneth small things shall fall little by little. Alright? Now, let me get this scripture. It's Hebrews chapter 3 and verse 11. Yeah, Hebrews chapter 3. Yeah, and I read verse 13. It says, read from verse 11. It says, so I swear in my wrath, they shall not enter into my rest. Alright? Take heed, brethren, lest there be in any of you an evil heart of unbelief in departing from the living power. You know, you gotta be mindful of that. Alright? And sometimes we just be so caught up about in looking at another man and trying to find his fault that we even overlook our own. Alright? So a lot of times, hey, it's best to be introspective. Look within. You understand me? And this is what the scripture tell you, to examine yourself. You know, but it says, but exhort one another daily while it is called today, lest any of you be hardened through the deceitfulness of sin. All right, and that's the point. The point is that you could be hardened, all right, stubborn through the deceitfulness of sin. Why? Because from sin is only gonna come another. And that's why the scripture say what? Marvel if a man escape from one sin. You know? Marvel if a man escape from one sin. Alright? The scripture tell you what? Don't bind one sin upon another. You know? So you gotta be mindful, man. You gotta be mindful. Alright? Now it's the final scripture. And then I'm gonna close it out. Yeah, this is Sirach 30. Ecclesiasticus 30. I wanna start at verse 8. Says an horse not broken becometh headstrong, and a child left to himself will become willful. Alright? Now you gotta put yourself in these scriptures. You gotta think as though you are the father, but then you gotta put yourself as being the child, because now if I'm a child and I'm left to myself, meaning I'm left to do whatever I want, you know, I'm gonna become willful. I'm gonna disregard the instructions of my father. Alright? So you gotta put yourself in these scriptures to really the scripture call the scriptures living water. Alright? So you gotta live it. You know, you gotta put yourself within the scriptures so that it really speak to you. Alright? It says, conquer thy child, and he shall make thee afraid. And he shall make thee afraid. Play with him, and he will bring thee to heaviness. Laugh not with him, lest thou have sorrow with him, unless thou gnash thy teeth in the hand. Give him no liberty in his youth, and wink not at his foolishness. You know, so hey, you ain't even supposed to. And again, I put in myself as a child. So you ain't supposed to give yourself liberty. Alright? And you ain't supposed to wink at your foolishness. You know, so with that, I want to give all praises to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Makakwadash, and double honors unto the elders and to the apostles of Great Millstone, and salutations to the hopefully elect. Shalom.